Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2023 Toyota GR86. This one right here is the base trim with the manual transmission. Let's get started. This is now the second model year of the newly redesigned 86, and if it wasn't for the window sticker saying 2023, you would pretty much have no way to differentiate this from the 2022 model. With the 2023 model did come a new special edition. We do have the 10th anniversary special edition 86, which is going to be limited to 860 units, and that's going to be available in Solar Shift Orange. But if you're not getting that special edition, the 86 this year is pretty much virtually unchanged. It still has the same 2.4 liter 4-cylinder boxer engine, which does about 228 horsepower and gets about 22 miles per gallon average. And this one right here is in the Raven color. So Raven is the name of the color for the pearl black. Now this is actually the same color that we did the 2022 86 video on. However, what makes this one different is this one is not the premium trim. So inside we're gonna have the fabric seats. And then another difference is that this time around for 2023, we actually have a manual transmission to check out today. In last year's video, we had an automatic transmission. So we're gonna start this overview by talking about the exterior here, starting in the front, and then later we're gonna jump inside and talk about some of the features. Starting off right here in the front of the 2023 GR86, you can see we have this GR logo right over here on this front grille. Now this front grille right here is really big, but it's only going to be open right here at the bottom, not the top. The top isn't open. You can actually screw in little holes right here where you can put in the front license plate if you do want to do that. And then right beside this large front grille right here, we have some more ventilation just to the side of the bumper. However, just like the front grille, the top part is going to be closed off and only the bottom portion is going to be open for airflow. Just above that air vent, we have our headlights right here. So the GR86 does have standard LED headlights, taillights, and this nice daytime running light right over here. Moving over to the side, we have our orange reflectors right over here. And then for wheels and tires, you can see we have these 17-inch wheels. They have this nice silver and black spoken to them. And then the tire size here is going to be 215, 45, 17. And just behind those front tires, we have some fender vents right here, which are functional and they provide for some better aero. And from the bottom of that fender vent, we have our side skirt, which is going to run across the side of the car all the way over to the rear wheels. Moving on over to the side of the GR86, we have our power operated heated mirrors right here. These ones don't have the blind spot indicator. You would have to upgrade to the premium trim to get that. We also have some nice black window trimming right over here, so it's nice to not see some chrome window trimming. And then moving up all the way to the top of the roof, there is a small dip right here in the center of the roof, right by the shark fin antenna, which adds to the styling of the car. The doors of the GR86 also have keyless entry, so you don't need to actually press the unlock button on your key to open the door. As long as it's nearby, it's going to unlock and you can open up the door. And then when you're leaving, if you want to lock the car, you can push on these two lines right over here. And moving on over to the back now of the GR86, because we don't have the premium trim here, we have the base trim, we don't have the duckbill spoiler, but you can see right here from this angle, the back does extend a little bit further out, so it almost has like a mini duckbill type spoiler, even though it's not actually a spoiler. You can see back here we have our LED taillights, Toyota emblem. Over here it says GR86, we have the emblems for that. We also have our rear view camera as well as a button right over here to open up the trunk. Now, as expected, there isn't a ton of space right here in the trunk of the GR86. You can see we have our first aid kit right over here, and then we also have our mounting plate for the front license plate. Now underneath right over here, we can pull on this strap. There is no spare tire underneath here, but we do have a tire inflator kit as well as some emergency tools. And moving down below from all of that, now normally the GR86 does come with a dual exhaust, but they have chrome tips. This one here does have the optional GR black exhaust tips. So you can see if I go underneath it, the exhaust tips actually say GR on them and they have the black tips. And between those dual exhaust tips, we also have our third brake light right over here, which underneath that third brake light, we also have these little fins right here, which just add a small little detail to the sporty styling of the GR86. And just like I pointed out last year in the 2022 GR86 overview, this is one of the few Toyotas that require premium fuel. All right, getting inside of the GR86 now, the first thing that we'll notice here is we do have these cloth fabric seats. So unlike the premium trim in which you get the ultra suede seats, this one right here is just regular fabric carpet. Now we also have a little handle right over here, which we can pull on, and this is gonna go ahead and fold down this seat right here. There's also kind of like this little strap that you can use to pull this seat forward and back. You can take a look at the amount of space that we have in the back seats, and it's almost nothing. I mean, nobody can even put their legs there. I was just sitting in the passenger seat. and nobody can put their legs in this second row. It's really just for backpacks. You can fold down these second row seats also to get more trunk space. So if you're gonna put some tires in the back, maybe it could work, but if you're gonna have people in the back seats, it's just straight up not gonna work. So like I said, in order to get the suede, you're gonna have to upgrade to the premium trim. So we have the fabric seats right here. And the fabric does also continue on over to the door card right over here, where we just have more fabric where we would have suede on the premium. Now there's nothing really too fancy going on right here on the door card. We do have a little bit of leather with some white stitching right here, which is what you're gonna use to open and close this door. There is a little storage spot right here for a water bottle. We also have our auto up-down window switches right over here. A little button to disable the window switch for the passenger side. We have our lock, unlock, mirror controls right over here, as well as a speaker. We also have these really cool GR86 carpets right here, which came optional in this 86. And what's really interesting also, while we're down here in the footwell, is the GR86 doesn't have a hood release in the same spot as you would normally expect it in a Toyota, which would be up here and you would pull this way. Now you still pull this way, but it's actually mounted over here to the left, just like that. Sitting inside the GR86 now, we have a couple of buttons over here to the left side. We have our brightness control for the center gauge. So you can see as I start to tinker with this, the brightness is going to change right over here on the center screen. Then just right below that, we have a button to open up the trunk. And then just above both of those, we have this little air vent right here, which you can kind of just move around. And then you can also twist this to open and close the air vent. Now just beside that, we have our trip reset button right here. And then just in front of that, we have our turn signal right here, which is also very non-Toyota-like. You can see we have it set to auto right now, but if you go ahead and push up or down in either direction to go left or right on the turn signal, you can see it's going to return back to its original position, and then to cancel it, you kind of have to give it a half turn in the opposite direction. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. If you drive any BMW from the 2000s or 2010s, you're going to be very familiar with this style of turn signal, but it's very weird to see it now in a Toyota, when most Toyotas just kind of, you push in one direction and then they stay there. Now underneath the steering wheel, we also have a release, so you can adjust your steering wheel positioning. We can go ahead and move this up, down, in, or out. Also behind the steering wheel, we have our cruise control stock right here, which you can see we still have the factory plastic on over here. Now we also have this really nice GR steering wheel right here. It says GR at the very bottom, has this really nice white stitching on the inside part of the wheel. And it's actually a very thin and very small wheel. I think it does feel really good in the hand, especially as this leather is new. We also have some steering wheel control buttons over here. So we have some buttons to pick up and end the phone call. We have some buttons right here also to increase, decrease the volume, skip the songs, go back in songs. We have our voice assistant, and then some arrows to control the menus, which are in the center gauge screen. I'm going to also go ahead and show you guys on the screen what the 7-inch gauge cluster looks like. So the screen that's right here on the gauges, I'll show you guys what that looks like in normal mode and track mode. So I'll switch between the two. To the right of all of that, starting at the top over here, we have some rectangular air vents, which it's really interesting to see how a car can have both circular and rectangular air vents. Typically a car will choose between one or the other. Moving down below that, we have our 8-inch touchscreen right here. Now this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We also have some quick shortcut buttons right here. So you can see we have home, phone, apps. We can go forwards, backwards, go to radio. We have our volume knob and tune knob right over here as well. Just underneath the screen, we have our 3 little climate knobs right here. Now the GR86 does have standard dual zone climate control, so we can have a different temperature for the driver and a different temperature for the passenger side. Over here in the center one, we can also control the fan intensity and which direction it's going in. And then if you need your front or rear defroggers or anything like that, if you want to change which direction the air is circulating in, you have these nice little buttons right over here, which you can push down on. To the left of all of this, we also have our start stop button, which does say GR on it, which is really cool. So if I go ahead and clutch in all the way, we can go ahead and push this right here, and the car is going to go ahead and start up. I had to go ahead and turn on the AC in the car here just because it is getting really hot over here in California. It's still actually hot even though it's September, but we do also have this GR shift knob right over here. Now this one also is coming optional on this GR86. It's one of the available accessories. Now over here it has our shift pattern on it, so we can go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then we're going to pull up on this little collar right here all the way to the left and up for reverse. Now just underneath the shifter, I have the key here for the GR86. Now this one right here did come in with this really cool key cover that says GR86 on the back. Now on the front of the key, we have lock. Unlock is going to be the Toyota emblem. We have our trunk to be opened, and then we also have our alarm to be rang. Underneath over here, we have our traction off buttons. We have traction off and track mode. So you can either just turn off traction control, or you can go into track mode, which is also going to turn off your traction control. Then moving down below that, we have a little bit of nothing over here. If you were to get a premium model, you are going to get your heated seats right over here. So the control buttons for turning on the heated seats for driver and passenger would be right over here in the premium model. To the left of that, we also have our physical handbrake, which we can release and pull up. It also has that same white stitching that the steering wheel had. And between the two seats right here, we can go ahead and push this button right here to open up the center console. We have 2 extra cup holders, 2 USBs, and an auxiliary port as well. And moving on over to the passenger side, we have more of the same stuff. So we do have the same fabric seat, the same door card. We have the same GR86 floor mats back over there. We also have our glove box down over here, which just has some of the paperwork for this car. And moving on upwards, we have just a regular style rear view mirror. It does not have auto dimming, so we have to actually manually dim it ourselves using the dimmer right over here. There's also no buttons to connect to any garage remotes for this rear view mirror right over here. And moving up a little bit higher, we do have our emergency SOS button, our passenger airbag status, some light controls. And then lastly, up at the very top, we have our visors, which you can see we have them going down right here. Now there is no light for the mirror right over here. So we do have a mirror, but there's no light. And then if we go ahead and extend these out, you can see there's no actual extension portion. So we can't actually pull this out for some extra coverage. In the back seat, like I said earlier, nothing too special going on. There's almost no leg room, but we do have some latches for child seats. And then we can also push down right there in the corners to fold down these seats, which I imagine is the way that most people are going to be riding with these, so that they can actually fit more stuff in the trunk. So that's going to do it for the quick overview of the 2023 GR86. If you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. This car has just 16 miles on it and a full tank of gas, so I'm about to go take it out onto the roads. And if you guys enjoyed the video, again, please leave a like, consider subscribing. I will see you all next week.